were thin, then I would be worthy. Then whatever in me was damaged would not be damaged anymore. When I was 25, I discovered a book called Survival into the 21st Century, which I don't recommend. Actually, I suppose if you were not an extremist, if you were not a closet anorexic, then perhaps that book might have been helpful. However, for me, it was a book which taught me how to be an anorexic, because the author talked about surviving into the 21st century, and although the 21st century is not a long time away from now, from then, when I read the book, which was in the late 70s, it seemed a long time. And he recommended that the way to survive, because the earth was going to be getting more and more polluted, was to progressively lighten your body so that you wouldn't need food. And the way you did that was by eating raw food, and then by just drinking juices, and then eventually becoming a breatharian, being able to exist on light and silence. Now, I believed this. I truly believed that I could become a breatharian. So I started the program the very next day. I got the book, and I read it one night. I started it the next day. I limited myself to 150 calories a day. I jogged 4 miles a day. I ate only raw food. I didn't eat protein. Oh yes, I did. I had a little tofu at the beginning, and then I stopped eating that. So I was eating a handful of sprouts, a half a tomato, a half an apple, a half a pear, celery, carrots, things like that every day, but limiting myself even to vegetables and the amount of vegetables that I was eating, and then jogging. Well, as you can imagine, I lost a lot of weight very quickly. I got down to about 82 pounds. And I remember the feeling of accomplishment and the feeling of nobody can look at me now and tell me that I'm fat. At least they won't be able to do that. And that was just about the worst thing that anybody could say to me, was that I was fat or that I had gained weight. Because I took fat to mean unlovable. I took fat to mean damaged. So nobody did look at me and tell me I was fat. I didn't believe that I was really thin, although I wore a size 2. And I kept myself like that for 1.5 years. I moved to Santa Cruz after 1.5 years, and I gained 80 pounds within 2 months. So I doubled my weight within 2 months by doing nothing but binging. I was going to school then, so I would eat and I would study and cry, and I would eat and study and cry, and eat and study and cry. And I would eat until I was about to throw up, till I was so sick that I felt that nausea inside my body, and that's the point I would stop eating. But as soon as that feeling calmed down, I would start eating again. So I gained a lot of weight, and at the end of that, I didn't know what to do with myself. I wanted to kill myself. I didn't fit into any of my clothes. My friends didn't know what to say to me. Nobody knew what to say to me. I felt so hopeless and so consumed with self-loathing that I remember wanting to rip myself apart, wanting to take a knife and cut pieces of my thighs, cut pieces of my arms, slice off pieces of my face so that I wouldn't be fat. I was so desperate, but so desperate. And by then, it had been so many years of binging and dieting, of eating, binging, and dieting. Really, it was just binging and dieting. Those were the two things I knew how to do.